What we wanted was to go deeper into the audience psyche and see why should I get an ad of say a Calvin Klein which I would never buy. So it is a duty of a digital marketer also not to not to be very intrusive and not to show random ads to a user, which a lot of people do get random ads, which it is not interesting. It is just a waste of the money ad spend, right?
This is episode number 2 of the Growth Genius podcast, powered by Infidigit. Welcome, friends, to the Growth Genius podcast. My name is Kaushal Thakkar. I'm the founder of Infidigit and your host for the show. Each week, I interview geniuses who have created phenomenal digital growth for their organization. We discuss the key techniques and share insights to help you learn and create your own growth story. Since the last decade, Facebook has become an integral part of our lives. Since most of us start and end our day with Facebook, it has become a preferred channel for marketers to connect with their target audience. The topic for today's discussion is create growth via Facebook ads, and we are going to learn from our guest how to optimally reach to the target audience via Facebook ads. Our guest today is Manik Singla, Head Revenue and Digital Marketing SpaceJoy. Manik is an alumnus of IIT Kanpur and has created growth for several other organizations like Myntra and ClearTex. An engineer by degree, a marketer by heart, Manik has worked across FMCG, e-commerce and fintech domains. Manik, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Kaushal. It's a pleasure being on the show. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well. It's raining over here in Bombay. And how is it in Bangalore?
The weather is pretty good. However, these days the number of corona cases are going up quite heavily. So it's getting scarier day by day. We yesterday had almost 1,000 cases of corona. So,
Okay.
but yeah, it's good. Staying indoors, staying safe. Yeah.
Okay. Jumping on to the topic, we would like to, for the people who do not know you, please help them with your corporate background.
Hi everyone, and I'm Manik, and currently I'm working with SpaceJoy as head of revenue and digital marketing. And for people who also don't know SpaceJoy, we are a new age online interior designing firm. We weave the art of interior design with the science of technology. Right? We create really ultra realistic 3D 360 looking interior designs for people to see before they start their project. Anyway, before SpaceJoy, I was working with ClearTex. I used to lead the marketing at ClearTex, and before ClearTex, I worked with Myntra, taking care of digital marketing efforts at Myntra. Overall, if you see, I have also, uh, except digital marketing, I think I have also done a fair amount of social media marketing. Very very interesting stuff. Interesting to see not just how to run paid campaigns, but also how to drive organic views on social media.
Manik, some of our audience may not be aware about Facebook ads. Can you explain it for them?
Yeah, sure. Advertising on Facebook is available in many formats, right? These days, Facebook has opened up many different kinds of formats. Facebook and Instagram, and Facebook also has tied up with a bunch of other advertisers, other publishers, where you can see, Facebook ads. Best thing about Facebook ads is it's very easy to start, and it can be very simple, or it can be as sophisticated as a user wants. What happens? Facebook allows a user, right, an advertiser to select audiences via self-serve platform, select audience, put some money and launch an ad. So if you see on the let's say if you are scrolling on the Facebook, on your Facebook feed, you will see an ad which will be link called sponsored. So that ad, that is an ad from Facebook. As a user, the advertiser can select an ad, or set up an ad basis age or of the user, location of the user, Facebook interest of the user, what smartphones the user is on, right? All those things are different parameters which can be used. Also gives quite a good lot of analytics and numbers to track the performance of the ads, right? Metrics like impressions, reach, CTRs, right? So the what it helps at the end of the day, right? It kind of creates a level playing field, right? Anyone and everyone can get on to the Facebook ad, and even a small business, they can increase their reach phenomenally by getting onto Facebook ad.
Great. And when you speak about the ad and you mentioned that, okay, how to run the ad, what would be the usual cost of a Facebook ad?
The one word answer is it depends. It depends a lot on what kind of ad someone is setting for. So there are different objectives of that. Right? You can be setting an ad to drive traffic to your website. You can drive installs of your app. You can look at driving video views of your app, or you can also drive conversions on the website. So there are multiple different kinds of objectives, right? It also depends on what kind of audience are you bidding, right? Are you bidding for an audience, let's say, which is a very niche audience looking to buy hi-fi speakers, or are you targeting a very broad audience, let's say someone who's looking to buy a earphone or a smartphone, which is the majority of India population, right? Or yeah, and also depends on what kind of industry you are in. If you are in a retail industry, or are you in a real estate market, right? Real estate market definitely will have more people bidding for it and higher ad spends. But on an average, if I were to really, take a bet, put a number, I think in India, the average CPMs, the cost per thousand impressions, go anywhere between
Mhm.
30 to say 100 rupees per CPM, and cost per click can be around 3 rupees to 10, 12 rupees, which is on a decent size base and not targeting a very niche base.
So, Manik, how can we start an ad on Facebook?
Starting a Facebook on ad is pretty straightforward, I would say. First step a person has to do, a user advertiser has to do, is to set up an Facebook page for your business. Once the page is set up, you can start posting the content on your page. The advertiser can post it on the page. Now there are two options available to an advertiser. There are you and the user can directly push, or it's called boost in Facebook terms, the post from the page. Right? There are a few options available to target users. That's not very complicated. It has this limited number of options, limited number of play things you can play with. But that is one way to start pushing it very easily from directly from the Facebook page. The other way is to, which has a lot more options. A user can play with many targeting options, many more things. That is setting up a Facebook ad account. So you can just go to Facebook Business Manager. It's business.facebook.com. Set up an ad account for yourself, right? Add your credit card details and everything. Once the ad account is set up, then the user can start with setting up a campaign. Now, setting up a campaign on Facebook is, I would say, three-step process. The first step is creating a campaign, and so what does that involve? It involves telling the Facebook that what kind of campaign are you going to set up? What do you want, right? Are you looking to, what is the objective of the campaign? Are you looking for traffic, to drive traffic to your website, or are you looking for engaging, creating post engagements, or looking for app installs, or looking for video views? There are a bunch of, like, there are almost 15 odd different options available, right? Once you understand that, once you put that, maybe if you want to have a overall budget, you want to have a overall budget of the campaign, you can put that. Once you set up the campaign, you move to the next level, which is called an ad set. Right? Now, in the ad set, it's a very important part of in the overall campaign. The ad set phase, a user defines who is he targeting, what kind of targeting does he want. As I told earlier, it can be based on interest, location of target audience, interest of the target audience, age of the target audience, gender of target audience, so some kind of Facebook interest and everything of the target audience. It is also, you can, an advertiser can also retarget, audiences. By retargeting, I mean audiences which had come onto their platforms on website or on offline stores, that can also be retargeted through Facebook. I'll speak about retargeting in a bit. On the ad set level, once the targeting is set up, a user can now set up the budgets. Does he want a daily budget, or a week, or a lifetime budget? Can set up the date, the timelines, the flight details of the ad, from what day to what date the ad should run, on what hours the ads could be run. And then the user can also select what platform. So Facebook, as I told earlier, within the Facebook platform, user can target Facebook, Instagram. Within Facebook, there will be Facebook Stories, Instagram Stories, and many other options, right? And then there are audience network, which is a network created by Facebook with a few publishers. So user can select where does he or she wants to set up an ad on these any of these platforms. And then lastly, on the ad set, user can select what is the ad targeting or a bidding type which he or she wants. Do you want to do a impression based targeting, or do you want a little, maybe a bidding on link clicks, or bidding, do you want to bid on, say, an app install, or some other factor which is lower down the funnel. All of these these information you need to provide in the ad set level. Then once the ad set is set up, the third and the final step is creating an ad. Now ad is where we define the creative. What images to use, what video to use, what can do you want to use, a single image or do you want to use a carousel by carousel, I mean multiple images, right? Or do you want to use a video, which well, many things which can be used, different kind of things. Facebook also provides a lot of tools and these days to create videos within Facebook. And then you add the headline, give the CTA, give the link out of the ad. Once all of these things are done, your campaign is set up. It might sound a little too much, but it is not. Facebook is very easy for a first time user to go into and to start. You might make a few mistakes, but it is very easy to learn how to set up a campaign on Facebook. I just want to go back on my points on retargeting. Another power of Facebook, which really helps any marketer, any user, is to be able to retarget his her audiences, right? Who users who have visited the website, right? Given subscribe to the newsletter or signed up on the website, or even someone who has visited the offline store and given his or her email address. So there are two options here. Either the advertiser can upload the list, email addresses list or phone number list onto the Facebook to create a retargeting list. The other little more technical thing is where you take Facebook pixel to update that Facebook pixel, integrate that Facebook pixel onto your website. What would this help is any person coming onto your website will be recorded on Facebook. While you will not know what is information of the user, but at least Facebook will create a list of users, create an audience of users who have visited your website. Then you can target them on a later date with different creatives or with a sale or with any conversion led creatives.
Thanks, Manik. Thank you for helping us with both the ads, the normal ones, as well as the remarketing. And thanks for clarifying on the remarketing related details too. You would have many people who would be working with you, and they would just start their career with Facebook, and they may be joining you on the day one and starting to build ads. What would the day look like for this junior team members of yours who are running Facebook ads?
I think on the daily level, what a user, what a team member, and what I used to do on a daily basis was, once you start your day, you have to look at the campaign, all the campaigns which are running, right? Look at all the campaigns which are running on the previous day, right? Look at how it has performed on Facebook. Then you have to look at how it has performed on which has actually performed once the traffic or anything has gone to the onto your platform. Right? Let's say we are talking about Facebook ad traffic campaign, right? So while Facebook gives you all the information of how the ad has performed, CTRs and CPMs and CPCs. So one thing to check is all the CPCs are in control, the CTRs, all the ads CTRs are doing well, right? If the CTRs are not doing well, understand why the CTRs are not doing well, what is happening, what's not happening, right? Then CPMs are under control. You're targeting who you're targeting. It's not too small a base and all that. So once you understand the overall numbers, then a user generally goes to the team member, right? Facebook marketing generally has to go to GA, look at the numbers of sessions and the quality of sessions coming across on GA, right? Across different campaigns. So it is possible that one of the campaigns is driving huge number of volumes of traffic at pretty cheap CPC, but the traffic which is coming onto your website is not doing anything. They are just bouncing off. They are not buying anything. Leave buying. They are not even interested in scrolling up and down. They are not even looking at other pages. So it means it's probably not a best traffic for you, right? So that is again another learning which you have to look at it on a daily level. So once you understand, okay, this is the cost per click, CTR, CPMs. Then a user looks at GA, Google Analytics, or any other analytic, whatever you follow, and they look at what is the cost per session, what kind of conversions have been created, what are the ROIs, right? Every day, I think this is one of the very interesting and very important things is to look at ROIs on a daily level, right? Don't look at ROIs not just 1 day ROI, but look at 7 day ROI, look at 30-day ROI. Like look at how campaigns which you had set up day before, or sessions which had come day before or last week, how are they performing today? So look at the overall ROIs of the campaigns. So first star generally goes in this, right? Looking at the campaign numbers and everything. Next up is starting to improve the campaigns, starting to invest time into campaigns, looking at campaigns at a more deeper level. We play with the targeting here and there, play with the numbers, whatever campaigns are not doing well, play with the targeting, play with the creatives. Let's say if the creatives are not doing well, then you have to speak with the graphic designer and the team, or or your agency, and ask them to make changes to the creative, right? You have to first understand what creatives to be changed, learn from what kind of creatives are doing well for what audiences, and then understand, okay, these kind of ads are more relevant to these audiences. Then create more kind of similar creatives, push those creatives. And so yeah, that's how a day looks like, talking to another thing is to create reports and etc., which is to be shared with the higher management, with the rest of the team. And
Mhm.
lastly, to plan for the next 10 days, 15 days, looking ahead. How do you plan the next rest of the month?
Thank you. Thanks you for those insights. And Manik, the next question would be more in terms of your growth story, which can be shared with the audience.
Facebook marketing has played a very phenomenal role in my growth story. Like, I started my career 6, 7 years back. I started my digital marketing career with Facebook ads, right? And slowly, steadily, I started learning different platforms. I started learning about social media marketing. Right? That has really helped me to understand the basics of digital marketing and take my learnings to other forms of or other platforms in digital marketing. I would also maybe try to give a couple of examples where I would say Facebook definitely helped us in reaching new goals. This is back in my days in Mintra when we had started app install marketing. We started off with the Google Ads, and Google Ads, of course, Google Ads, search ads, they are one of the best quality. They drive the best quality because the intent is super high. But the problem with Google Ads is the scale is limited. It depends on how many people are looking out for the product. Right, scale is limited. Quality is best. Scale is limited. We all were also trying out with a few affiliates. With affiliates, they were giving us huge scale. But the quality of installs, by quality I mean people signing up after opening the app, how many people are signing up, how many people are buying a product, etc. But the quality of installs were not so great. Paying decent money to these affiliates, but the quality was not great. Once we started scaling up Facebook campaigns we were running, and once we started scaling up Facebook campaigns, that is when we realized that Facebook could not only give good quality traffic but also good scale, right? Facebook, there were like 300 million, 200, 250, 300 million people in India using Facebook on a daily level, right? That the reach which Facebook gives
Interesting.
you is phenomenal, and I'm not talking about 5 years back. The reach which Facebook gives you is phenomenal, and you can the kind of creatives you can run is also, there is multiple, you have so many options. You can run sale campaigns, you can run story campaigns, you can tell a story, right, to your audience, a very beautiful story to your audience. So Facebook definitely helped us to scale our app install campaigns back in the day. I think another interesting story or a campaign I would like to share with the audience is when we created 10,000 different videos for a campaign. That was
10,000, did I hear it correctly?
yeah. 10,000 different videos for one of our sale campaigns. What happened was, this was one of the big sale campaigns in Mintra, and we wanted to give a user a lot, our audience, right? The people who I'm targeting on digital marketing, a lot more personalized experience, right? What we would generally do is we would run, say, 15 or 20 creatives targeting audiences, but not just maybe there was some kind of targeting available which was like men or female or young and old, that kind of stuff, right? But not too much, right? What we wanted was to go deeper into the audience psyche and see, why should I get an ad of, say, a Calvin Klein, which I will never buy, right? That is just a waste of time and effort and money,
True.
which a user has never looked in
Very
his
true.
life. Or let's say, or same goes, why should a user be shown an ad for a roadster which he has never looked for in? So it is a duty of a digital marketer also not to, not to be very intrusive, and not to show random ads to a user, which a lot of people do get, right? Random ads which it is not interesting. It is just a waste of the money ad spend, right? That is why. So that's where we thought, why can't we be more targeted? Why can't we say so? We created tens of thousands of ads depending on various parameters, depending on the user location, depending on what brands he or she has purchased in the past, depending on the gender of the user, depending on which platform the user is he or she on Facebook or is on Instagram, depending on what kind of day of the sale is he, right? Depending on what kind of the affluence of the user. right? Depending on what category of is he more looking to buy sports shoes, or is she more looking to buy a kurta or a jeans top, etc., right? So all these parameters, when we use, we created some 10,000 odd videos across, say, a 15-day campaign. Very big challenge to one, to create all these videos, and then to, of course, we used help of an external agency, and a lot of things were templatized. But we created all these videos, and running these campaigns, setting up campaigns, and tracking these campaigns. Pretty big challenge, but we did it well, and I think the campaign was very successful. We got almost a 0.4% increase in conversion from these campaigns. I know 0.4% doesn't sound a lot, but it that
On the
scale,
That's
it
also
was
good.
it
Yeah,
was in millions of dollars. So yeah,
really interesting. Thanks, Manik.
yeah.
So, Manik, while you have run so many campaigns, what are those other important aspects which you have not already shared with us about Facebook ads that will help us in getting the best results and the best conversion?
I think the first one I would think would be that there are a lot of options available on Facebook which a general marketer does not use or overlook. One of them is Facebook gives these days. Facebook has given interesting ways to create videos. There are a lot of templates available within Facebook which user can use and create videos. And video marketing, videos is one of the key important things to use in Facebook marketing. Earlier we were always dependent on graphic designers, on a third party to create videos, to create templates, to create graphic, to create designs. These are a lot of things. Facebook has given that power to the user, to the marketeer itself himself. So that's one. Another thing is, or maybe kind of a couple of things. One thing is, there is something called user insights, audience insights, which is again a tool to understand your audience. So using that tool, people can understand a lot more about the audience, understand what kind of interest, Facebook interest, that your audience has, right? And then in turn use these interest levels to retarget or increase the base of your audience. Let's say someone who's buying a product at your website, right? He or she is interested in, say, 5 different TV shows. It means that it has these people who like these 5 TV shows and who have not buying on your website can be a potential audience. So this is kind of creating a manual look-alike audience, right? That also, it's also helps in understanding a little more about the psyche of the user. The third one is also, so these days Facebook has made all the ads public, so you can go, and all the ads run by the competition, by anyone running ads on Facebook is a public knowledge, right? You can go onto that library, and then you can look at what campaigns your competition is running, or what campaigns others are running, right? Any category which is adjacent to your category, what campaigns are they running, what kind of creatives are they running, and you can learn from them, right? You can one understand what competition is doing, and then you can also maybe improve your creatives, your ads. So that's also pretty nice, pretty good tool. I really like it, right? I really keep using it whenever I am short of ideas. You go there and you get hundreds of ideas. So what to do? I think focusing,
That's insightful.
yeah, just to extend that thought, I think focusing on creatives is very important. What a digital marketer does is focus a lot on the optimization, on numbers, on running multiple creatives, multiple targeting, different ads, a lot of things. A lot of time goes on numbers, and of course, numbers make the backbone of what we are. But we probably do not focus as much on the creative. But creative is very important. We have to understand why a user is on Facebook. A user is on Facebook to consume content, right? They are consuming content, they are interacting with their friends, family. They are not here to, looking to buy. So what we have to do is we have to provide a good content to the user, be in an ad, be it in a static ad format, or be it in a video format. And hence video ads generally perform much better in terms of brand recall and overall, right? They perform better on Facebook. We should never lose that focus on creatives, right? Keep experimenting, of course. Keep experimenting, understand which creative works well, how what kind of creative will work with what kind of audience. But that emotion, right? That focusing on emotion, Once you have captured the audience, once you have captured the emotions of the audience, right? The audience has engaged with you. They have seen your video ad, or they have seen scrolled through your carousel ad, or right, or they have clicked on your first ad. Then you can probably go into and target them using a conversion campaign, right? What we generally do is we generally go directly, bam, bam. Hey, here is 20% off, here is 40% off. Just take it and buy. Just go in and buy. Yes, sometimes it is successful. Many times it is successful. Many times it is not. But if we do tell a story, right, and that is where marketing comes in. Right? Telling a story is what we should be doing, right? And if we do tell the story, focus on creative, I think there is no stopping you from getting the best results. Being successful on Facebook.
Great. So storytelling, creatives, video, those are the few major
Yeah,
things which they need to focus
totally,
on.
totally. Yeah.
Perfect. And Manik, many of our audience would like to become a digital marketer as successful as you, but many of these people are yet in the beginning of their journey. They've just graduated from colleges and they've done some digital marketing course and want to enter the industry. What suggestion would you have for these people? How do they get into the industry and become a Facebook ad marketer?
That's a very nice question, Kaushal. I think a lot of people I know, a lot of youngsters I know have asked me this question, that how do I get into this industry? To be honest, sometimes it does feel a little difficult to get into the to industry. It is a little close knit industry, but right now I see that every company, every organization is jumping onto digital bandwagon. Everyone wants to go into digital, and of course, why not? The audiences are there. The number one advice I would give to the audience here is to get your hands dirty, right? Of course, learning or doing a course gives you a good foundation, right? Good gives you a theory about it. But until unless you start using that theory, getting your hands dirty, getting onto that platform, just learning that platform, nothing beats that, right? Nothing beats the experiment. Nothing beats the practicals, actually understanding what that tool does. So getting your hands dirty. So as I already told you, setting up a Facebook campaign or a Facebook ad account is not very difficult. Once a user does that, he or she automatically has an edge on other people who have never tried doing this.
Got it.
There are a few certifications also available. Facebook has their own certification. You can go to Facebook Blueprint. It's called Facebook Blueprint. Okay, you can go to Facebook Blueprint. There are many courses available. There are certifications available. Of course, GA, Google Analytics, and Google has many other certifications. Once you get certified, once you get your hands dirty, get hang of things, then it becomes a little easy for you to start applying at various things, various jobs availability. If by chance, if your organization does digital marketing, maybe you can start talking to people in those domain, in that team, right? Start working with them a little bit here and there, maybe even if it is a pro bono thing, right? Start talking to them, start understanding how do they do things, start spending a little more time with them. That could always help you. If I would to say it in one line, I think it is learning every day. Right? I have been doing digital marketing since, like, I think 7 8 years now, and but I learn every day. Every day I learn something new, and there is so many things to be learned. There is so many things to be done. There is so many things to learn. So important to keep learning, to keep testing, experimenting, doing things by yourself, and not and things will definitely fall in place one day or the other.
Perfect. Thanks. And Manik, would the same advice be relevant for even those people? Now, you mentioned that in the last 7 8 years, you've started doing digital, and today you are heading revenue and digital marketing for an organization. So, not many people would have traveled this kind of journey in such a short span.
Thank
What
you.
would be what would be the secret sauce over there which you would like to share with our audience who are already into digital marketing or already doing Facebook ads? How do they grow in their life and move to the level where you are?
Sure. I think you give me too much credit, to be honest. I think that sometimes things just fall into place. But what helped me was when I was early in the career, when I started doing, and I was started off with Facebook marketing. Uh, it is important these days to not just focus on one particular platform, but to also understand how other platforms work. While it is very important to be an expert in one platform, but it's equally important to learn the basics of other platform, right? If you want to be a holistic, you want to be a proper digital marketer, you cannot not understand how say and Google ads work. You don't have to be experts in one. So I there is we used to have a saying called, jack of all trades and master of none, right? And that was never looked upon well. I would say that I just changed that saying, jack of all trades and master of one. While you need to be master of one thing, right, deeply, and but you also have to be jack of all trades. You also have to understand how other platforms work, right? What are the new things which are coming in the digital marketing agents ecosystem, right? How does programmatic work? How does media planning work? So once you have an overarching understanding, or right, basic understanding of a lot of these other platforms, it helps you to grow further in your career, right? You you probably, after 3 4 5 years, you don't have to run the campaigns on your hand, but you should always be able to advise your team to do better and how to do better. Another way of saying this is as a creating a T level growth, right?
Mhm.
Having a deep understanding in one and having a broad understanding in many other platforms. I hope that helps the audience.
Great. Yes, it definitely does. And it would be interesting for the audience as well to understand how to grow by learning from your growth story. And Manik, one similar question to that would be, what makes you remain growth focused?
I think what I have uh, been applying over the years is having one funda called less is more. Right? Many times, what happens is we just go in and start doing many things, start experimenting on many platforms, start doing this platform, that platform, here platforms, set up multiple campaigns at one go. What happens while that is good, experimenting is good, but you have to understand when that more becomes start becoming ineffective. So what I have always done, and I think has helped me, is taking while keeping a larger goal in mind, but taking short steps, right? Small steps to reach that goal, right? If I have to improve my ROI by, say, 10 times, right? Let's say that is the goal, right? You have an ROI of 5, you want to make it 50. Okay, that's okay. That's a big goal, but yes, let's say. But you can't just go run behind it blindly. You have to start taking small steps, understand how small things can change. Set up 5 campaigns, set one go. No, don't set up 50 campaigns. Don't go running around 5 different platforms. Just set up some one campaign on one platform, understand what works, and then double down on that, right? Then keep focusing on that. Another thing which also helped me to stay focused is being consistent. Being consistent is a life mantra wherever that can be applicable anywhere, in any situation, anywhere, right? You have to be consistent on wherever platform you're running ads on. Cannot be on and off, on and off, on and off. You have to be consistent. You have to keep learning, keep doing things on a daily basis. Being consistent on social media, being consistent on SEO, being consistent on blogging. So whatever platform. So don't, maybe if you don't have enough resources, don't go running across all platforms. But once you start on a platform, then you have to be consistent on that platform, right? Then you have to continue doing that for some time, at least give it a proper chance. Then just, it should not be a guerrilla warfare which will work here. It's a long journey. Once people understand that, I think that helps. It's a journey. The journey to success is long.
Perfect. Manik, Facebook recently, or a few years back, purchased WhatsApp. Do you think there would be WhatsApp ads running on WhatsApp soon?
Oh yeah, it is kind of already started. It's very recent. This phase of the WhatsApp marketing is very recent, and there are a lot of queries, questions, doubts on WhatsApp marketing. I would say that WhatsApp marketing has already started in one way or the other. One kind of WhatsApp marketing is what people do it on a personal level, right? While it is nowhere connected to Facebook, and a lot of B2B companies have perfected this art of WhatsApp marketing, right? They call you, let's say, hey, sir, are you interested in buying a property, or are you interested in this credit card? Right? They say, yeah, yeah, okay, I'm interested in all these things. You have the next thing they do is, should I send this out on WhatsApp? And then they send it to on WhatsApp. And it goes beyond not just a property or not just credit card. It also goes beyond to say, even if someone is selling a SaaS platform, right? Someone is selling a SaaS platform. Someone calls me, hey, Manika, are you interested in a new email marketing platform who does these things? I would say, hey, sorry, I don't have enough time. The next thing he says, hey, why don't I send you some stuff which we have and some stories on you have on email as well as WhatsApp? Right? I am okay, right? WhatsApp, okay, send it on my WhatsApp. I will look at it whenever I get. So that automatically creates that kind of a personal touch and gives that kind of a leverage or a new channels. That's WhatsApp opens up for marketing, and WhatsApp opens up for communication between that user and this thing. So this is where a lot of B2B companies have been doing it, and it is very organic, and although difficult to scale, but it is not run through a platform, right? It's a hack people have figured out. The other way, which is how Facebook would like us to do, or the going through the platform route, is that there is something called WhatsApp Business Manager also. Within Facebook, you can get WhatsApp number. You can apply through a third party. Facebook earlier started to, when for WhatsApp marketing, when Facebook acquired WhatsApp, Facebook gave out WhatsApp numbers, WhatsApp marketing licenses to a few companies in India. So you would have seen Make My Trip and Book My Show generally sending tickets and etc. to the users using WhatsApp. At that point of time, and even now, right, it is WhatsApp marketing right now is limited to transactional messages. Facebook does not want people to do whatever kind of messaging on WhatsApp. So it controls the message which you send out. The template which you send out is controlled by Facebook. It has to be approved by Facebook before you send it out. There is another kind where you can send a user from your Facebook ad to WhatsApp also, WhatsApp chat. And if a user interacts with you, then you can set up a chatbot. You can have a chatbot sitting up, or you can have a sales agent sitting who can then interact with the user. So yeah, so there are a bunch of options available these days. Some of them are people run it all by themselves. If you have a small base, if you are a B2B, if you have a B2B company, then you can just create a strategy for WhatsApp. What do a call, then send this, second call, send this, third call, send this. And if it is not, if you want to run it through a platform, proper self-serve platform, then you can go to a third party agency and do either of these things, either a chatbot kind of feature, or where a user initiates a chat, or you can also send a templatized message. But that templatized message needs to be more transactional in nature, and not in the proper promotional marketing message.
Thank you, Manik. Manik, a few last questions. We have heard that you are an avid reader. Any book or any online article that you would like to recommend to our audience, or any website?
Yeah, I think on the personal front, I do read a lot of books and everything. And on the personal front, I really like to read fantasy fiction and history fiction books. Right, I'm these days I'm reading this book called Wheel of Time series. It's an epic book. It's almost as big as Mahabharata. It's a 15 book series. If anyone here fans of fantasy fiction books, do ping me, and I can suggest many other books. There
Nice.
are another book, I think, which I can suggest to the users, called Thinking Fast and Slow. It's a book by Daniel Kahneman. It's a very interesting book. It shows how people think, and it's very interesting to learn and apply to your life and all. As marketeers, it is important to understand the psyche of users in general. So I would suggest everyone reading that book. Haruki Nakamura is another author which I really love. I think which people can also look at it. And sorry, Haruki Murakami, which is another author. Which uh, on the professional front, there are many places where these days users can get a lot more information. YouTube being the first place. There are many things available on YouTube for all kinds of questions and answers. There are a few podcasts which are available. There is a podcast by SCM Rush, which I generally follow. It's a very interesting podcast, which SEMrush does. SEMrush has good content anyway.
Perfect. Thanks for that inputs. And Manik, how can the audience stay connected with you?
Oh yeah, of course. But people, please feel free to ping me on, look me up on LinkedIn, Manik Singla on LinkedIn. If there are any questions, DM me on LinkedIn. Of course, on Facebook, I'm there on Facebook. I'm there on Instagram and on all social media channels. Right. And if there are any other questions, people can also reach me out on my email ID, maniksingla88@gmail.com. I would be happy to help as much as I can.
Thank you, Manik, for sharing that. Any parting words that you would like to share with the audience?
I think it has one thing is thank you, Kaushal. I would say it's been a real pleasure and an honor to be part of this podcast. Just a few parting words. I think these times, right? The times that we have uncertain times with COVID and everything. There are a lot of people who are not getting good opportunities. Some people have been out of jobs. But I would like to say is when I passed out of college, uh, that was also time of recession. That was 2009 2010. That was also some bad times. Right. So I don't know, but I do empathize with people, right? It sometimes feels like the end of the world. I'm a civil engineer by degree, by profession, but by profession, I'm a marketeer. So so this reminds me of something what Mr. Steve Jobs said in one of his speeches, graduation speech in I think Stanford. He said he looked back and he said that he also skipped college. He attended random classes, but so I kind of I kind of relate to that, right? I didn't get the best job out of college. Then I came to Bangalore and searched for a job. I got into analytics. Then I got because of my understanding of analytics and marketing analytics, I could get into digital marketing job, right? And slowly, being digital marketing helped me to understand more and more. And I would say I am at a right. I'm doing well, right, in digital marketing.
Definitely.
So kind of I feel that things kind of I fall in place. All you need is persistence and hard work, right? Don't lose hope. If anything bad is happening, things will fall into place. Things kind of connect at the end. When you look past in the past, things kind of connect, dots connect. And look, keep working hard, stay persistent, keep working hard, and there is no one who can stop you from reaching the heights you and the success you truly deserve.
Great. That's wonderful. Thanks, Manik. So, for me, yes, one major thing was being consistent has helped you a lot, and definitely we are going to read that book, Thinking Fast and Slow.
Yeah, that's
Manik,
very interesting.
it was a great experience having a conversation with you. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Kaushal. Thank you. It was really nice to be part of this show, and hope you have all. Wish you all the best and the success of the show. And stay safe in these days. Stay indoors. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, audience. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Growth Genius. I hope you learned something today. If you did, please share this episode with your friends and family. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to The Growth Genius Show wherever you are listening to this podcast. And if you enjoyed the show, consider giving us a 5-star rating. It helps other people like you discover the show. Thank you so much for listening. Now go out there and create growth for yourself and your company. Thank you.